All right. So we've managed to avoid all of the spoilers. This is probably the manifesto that matters the most. What do we do with Archnemesis? So other than fucking delete it, really it's the loot goblins that are the problem for me. The biggest problem is loot goblins. I need that shit like spread. No, I mean, I need that shit like spread over everything. We can't do this loot goblin thing again, man. That felt so bad. That felt so bad. It was the worst part was the loot goblin. I hate them. I hate them. I especially hate the part where they told us there wasn't any loot goblins when there definitely was. So at least just do that. At least just do that. All right. In our upcoming 3.20 expansion, Archnemesis will be replaced with a system. Wait, replaced with a system that is more similar to the way monster mods worked in the past. Nemesis 2. Yay! Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. What? Excuse me? Okay, I was at the beginning when I said what I wanted. I was like, other than delete it, but that was just a dig. I didn't expect them to. Okay, hang on. We keep. Okay. The issue the players often had with Archnemesis were the keyworded mod names were not fully descriptive of what they did. No shit. The mods often had multiple effects bundled together, which make them harder to understand. Sure. Due to how many effectors were included in a single mob, it made many encounters too complex. The way Archnemesis rewards were set up meant that many players felt like they couldn't just kill a monster. They had to consider if they wanted to bring a magic find character in to maximize rewards. Yeah. Yeah. The worst thing you've done. Well, that's not true. You also deleted all the rest of the loot. The second worst thing you've done. All right. The goals for the new systems are mods do one specific thing. Mods say what they do rather than having a thematic name that you must learn and remember. Encounters are simplified on average while retaining the interesting fights. Players are no longer required to do annoying actions to maximize rewards. I'd really like to clip in the post of them saying that there are no loot goblins and that we've all imagined it from earlier this league. Everyone remembers that, right? And they were like, no, there's no loot goblin mechanic. There's nothing like that. We've made it better, not worse. We did the opposite of that. That's what they said. Anyway, just saying, glad to see we're finally on the same page. Let's examine those goals individually. Mods that do one specific thing. Here's an example. The Magma Barrier Archnemesis mod did a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, including fizz reduction for some reason. It started by putting a magma barrier around a monster. It didn't stop there. It converted some of the monster's fizz to fire. It added fizz as extra fire. It granted fire resistance to the monster, and it gave some physical damage reduction for good measure. Yeah, right? Why? It also spawned volatile flame bloods to follow you. The new equivalent modifier just puts a magma barrier around the monster and does nothing else. Okay. Alright. Mods say what they do rather than having a thematic name you must learn and remember. For example, rather than Incendiary, which broke down into 6 properties, you will now see monster that has Ignites or Fire and Ignite resistance. Instead of Deadeye, which did 5 separate things, you will now see Applies Random Mark. Like between Mark GGG and the other ones? Anyway. Extra crits or Accurate as separate unrelated mods. Alright, I'm good with this. This is great. How's this going to affect my Headhunter? Just wondering. Just wondering. Encounters are simplified on average while retaining interesting fights. The pool of mods that involve complex interactions like spawning volatiles or ground effects on death have been heavily diluted by the presence of the simpler mods. Okay. This means that you encounter more complex fights less frequently, but interesting and challenging emergent behaviors from overlapping mods can still happen, just less often. I didn't think I was going to be excited reading this, but I'm suddenly excited. What's going on? Players are no longer required to do annoying actions to maximize rewards. Okay. In Archnemesis, rewards were associated with individual mods. This means that you could tell what kind of reward you were going to get in advance. In some cases, you were effectively required to fetch a magic find color character. This is the thing you told me earlier this league was absolutely not a requirement and that we'd made it up and that you'd done the opposite of this. And we all went, no? So just, I really would like something addressing the... Anyway, don't worry about that. To make sure that you maximize the value of the monster mods that you found. In other cases, you would ignore monsters completely if you already knew they would only drop rewards that had no value to you. In the new system, we are adding a significant pool of new rewards to rares, but the reward that is on that monster is hidden and not associated with a specific mod. So you don't know what kind of reward you will get until you kill the monsters. Rare monsters with more mods are more likely to have these special hidden reward mods. The new reward system smooths out the spikiness that the Archnemesis reward system had that you said didn't exist. I'm really stuck on that. I'm noticing. Anyway. Conclusion. The original motivation for developing Archnemesis was that the previous mod system was very out of date. Many of the old mods didn't have any appreciable? I don't know this word. Effect under the modern balance, and there wasn't a lot of interesting gameplay possible. In our opinion, Archnemesis did succeed at adding a lot of new interesting mechanics to rares, but introduced all the problems described above. While creating new monster mods described in this article, we were careful to retain most of the interesting mechanics that Archnemesis introduced, but in a way that doesn't include a grand bag of other stuff that is diluted in many simple mods. Okay, cool. The result is a system very similar to the monster mods, to what monster mods used to be, but with much more up-to-date content and balance. Mods are simpler and say exactly what they would do. While you can certainly still rarely encounter scary combinations of mods that really wake you up, it's a lot rarer than it was under the Archnemesis system, and we feel like this new system is more modern and interesting than the old monster mod / nemesis system. It's clearer to understand in the heat of combat than Archnemesis was. Whew. So, as of right now, I've decided that we're just calling it Nemesis 2 and not Archnemesis anymore, because this sounds like an actual solution to the actual problem. This sounds like an actual solution, but it also doesn't sound like a solution. It sounds like we're reverting to the Nemesis system and just adding the new mods instead of the old mods, but in the Nemesis system, not the Archnemesis system. This is just Nemesis 2. Now, I'm sad that it took us 9 months to figure it out, but on surface level, reading this, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely, actually the thing I would want. This is really good. I do wish that they were quicker to recognize the failure of the way they handled Archnemesis and the way they tried to implement it. I wish they were quicker to recognize that failure instead of fighting with us for 9 months. But this looks actually really good. Obviously, we're going to have to play it to find out. And obviously I'm a little bit scared about what's going to happen to my headhunter, but that's not a problem that affects most people anyway. And oh, I'm going to say something that's real out of character. I don't mind if my headhunter gets screwed and is useless if everyone else is having a better time because these mod system works better. If headhunter dies for this, it's worth it.